My name's Michael Erby. I was born in New Albany, Mississippi. I grew up in the Wallerville community. I went to high school at East Union High School in Blue Springs. Wallerville is kind of a small community. Everybody knew everybody, and we all played together and all that and everything.
What year did you graduate from East Union?
83.
Okay. And what were the things you were involved in as a kid?
Pretty much everything. Basketball was my main thing. I did some track and I dabbled with a little baseball and everything, but basketball was my main thing. Really, that's the only thing we really had, was basketball, baseball. But we didn't had football. I would have been in football, but I played basketball was my main concern.
What is your earliest sports memory?
I started playing in the backyard as early as I can remember. I don't know exactly how old I was, but I'd have some real games back there by myself, and everything. But that's when I remember started playing. And I think maybe in the 5th grade they started having some organized stuff where we would go and play against different little teams and all that and everything.
Did you have siblings?
Yes.
Were they your teammates in your imaginary game in the backyard?
I was by myself most of the time, unless a lot of times the neighborhood kids and we could get together and we'd get together and play against a lot of times just guys older than us and everything like that.
Now this was basketball?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have a hoop in your backyard?
I did.
Okay. Who would you play with? Who were the neighborhood kids you'd play with?
Well, Anthony Anderson and Hugh Cannon and Robert Finley and several different guys, we all, a lot back then, you had to walk or ride your bike, to get together to play and stuff and everything. But whenever we got together, we'd meet up at somebody's house and, we'd have a game in the backyard.
Now, some of those guys that you mentioned went to New Albany, right?
Yes.
So how did you end up at East Union and not New Albany?
Well, I lived closer to New Albany, but I was bused to East Union. That's by the school district lines and everything. I'm closer to New Albany, but I went to East Union.
It just happened to be what side of the road almost that you ended up on?
Yes,
Yeah. But y'all all lived close together.
Yes.
Those guys. So did you ever play against them in high school?
Me and Anthony played together. There's a lot of guys that played at New Albany and stuff. We grew up playing up at we played at BF Ford and in the park and different places like that. We have to ride our bikes up here, and we all played. Johnny Payton, Bobby Bolin, Terry Ball. We all played together, and then we all played against each other.
What was that like, playing against your friends?
It was nice. It's really enjoyable and stuff. We hated to lose. So that brought out the best in everybody.
Yeah. So you also ran track?
A little bit.
Yeah. What was your event in track?
I think I did a 220 and I threw the discus.
When you were in high school at East Union, how developed was the track program there?
It started, I guess maybe when I was in junior high, maybe. That's when I first remember, running. Coach Job got that started over there. And I was probably 8th grade maybe when it started. And we started, that's as early as I can remember. I think it's probably when I was in junior high they started the track program.
And who was the coach?
James Job. Back then, with being in a school the size of East Union and everything, back then it's what they would call now as a 2A school. The athletes pretty much done everything there and stuff. Doing the basketball team, basketball coach started track team, you automatically on the track team and stuff, So back then, basketball coach, he was the track coach, baseball coach, all that and everything. So pretty much if he done something, you right there with him.
You played one sport, you played all the sports.
Pretty much.
And the coach coached all of them too.
If you're able to play, you're going to be playing,
Yeah.
and everything. So,
they needed you.
Yeah.
How many students did you graduate with?
Might have been 30.
It seems like with a class size that small, you would be very close to your classmates. Is that so?
We had good relationships and everything. We didn't really hang out a lot. She was basketball players. We hung out and everything, but most of the people that I knew, I spent more of my time in New Albany than out that way. You know, I think most of the kids there probably went the other way toward Tupelo or something. And you know how school is. You know, if you have your group that you hang with and stuff. You know, close to others than you are some, and you just know some and not really hang with them and everything. My first coach was David Deal. I think when I was in the 7th grade. I think he was there, and then my 8th grade year, I believe, is when the year that I stayed back. I believe that's when Coach Joe came, and I started playing high school basketball in the 8th grade. We've always been successful. The teams I played on have always been successful.
What were some of your biggest successes at East Union?
Well, state championship.
What year was that?
81.
81. So that would have been your what?
Sophomore
Year. Okay. Who were your teammates?
Anthony Anderson, Keith Trudaway, Terry Trudaway, myself, Mike Wages, Mike Rory. That's me. What ones that just come off the top of my Colin Billingsley. A couple of let me see. That was mainly Keith, Terry, Anthony, Mike Wages, Mike Rory. Yeah, that's pretty much our
And
team
the
that year.
coach of that
The
team?
year that we won it.
Okay.
James Jobe. He was
James
the
Jobe.
coach.
Okay. Is James Jobe still around?
He's deceased.
He is. Okay.
Well, we pretty much was always together. We would have practice, and we leave practice. We may go play, tackle football without no pads or something like that, or either go play on a 9-foot goal or something like that. But we always played together. We played basketball all the time. We just didn't play when it was time to practice. We played all the time. We leave practice and go play basketball. So.
Did y'all go to state any before that or after that? The year that you won?
We went the year after we won. And all those guys graduated except all the starters except for me. But we made it back the next year.
The year that you won state, 81, you said. Who did y'all beat for the final game?
McAdams.
Where's that?
I forget what county that is, but they're there pretty much. They still there. It seems like every year. They were there this year.
Do you remember the atmosphere of going to the game? Did y'all have a huge crowd that came?
East Union fans are great. They call us a dirty dozen.
Do you ever go back and watch them play?
I've been back a few times. I don't get back as much as I probably did since I'm pretty much tied up with the sports in New Albany and everything. I don't get out there as much as I would like to, but I go whenever I can.
Did you, as a high school student, enjoy the rivalry between just all the schools within the county, including New Albany?
Yes.
Was that a fun thing to?
It was, because back when we played, you never knew who was going to win until we played the game. It was that competitive and stuff. Everybody was good, and everybody had good coaches and stuff. So, all the games was competitive, and you didn't know you had to come play every night. You didn't know if he was going to win or not. So.
When you were in high school, like, I'm sure it probably changed year to year, but who were some of the schools that were y'all's biggest rivals?
We had a lot of battles with Ingomar. We had a lot of battles with New Albany, which, probably our biggest rivalry and toughest game was always Ingomar. They came out on top a lot against us, by 1 point and everything, but we got them.
Who were the guys on the Ingomar team that were the ones that were?
Troy Howell and Mike Ray, that's who comes to mind when I think about it and stuff and everything. James Green played there. James Green played, I think he graduated when I was in the 8th grade. I remember playing against him when I was in the 8th grade. I think he might have graduated that year, but Troy and Mike and I think it's the Stouts and stuff played with him and stuff back then when we played.
Who were the New Albany guys that were your opponents then?
Terry Ball, Johnny Payton, David Foote, guys like that. It just still seemed like it was yesterday. It don't seem like it's been 40 years and stuff,
Yeah.
But we still, remember and talk about it, when we played and how the teams play now and stuff and how we played and everything, We still see each other. We still think about it.
Yeah.
sports goes a long way with you and everything. Because I know my guys I played with in college and stuff. You know, we still get together and everything. Then I just came back from, I think probably middle of February. We had an alumni reunion and everything. So it's it brings you together because you go through so much together. If you're on the same team and everything, you go through those same trials and tribulations and stuff, and you go through a lot of stuff together. It helps you just be closer to someone rather than somebody you just meet. When you got some of this, you can share some of the same problems and struggles and stuff as you come into trying to get to where you're trying to get to.
Where did you go after high school?
Went to Alabama State University in Montgomery. When I came out of high school, I was probably contacted by maybe 35 different universities and had several offers for different places and stuff. I went for a visit down at Alabama State, and it was intramurals. They play intramurals, and it was off the chain down. It was and I enjoyed it. I met a lot of the guys and stuff, and we hit it off, and until this day, we still hit it off. I could have went a lot of places and stuff. I could have went to Ole Miss, Memphis State, and some places in Louisiana and stuff. Had offers from several different places and stuff. But when I got to Montgomery and Alabama State and everything, it seemed I felt comfortable there, and I'm still comfortable there today. That's where my friends are at, and I go back down there and stuff, and we keep in contact, and it still feels like home to me. But that's how I ended up down there. Just where I felt at home at. I could have went a lot of different places that had a lot better facilities and all that and everything, but it's just where I felt at home at.
That's a pretty long way from home. Montgomery is.
Back then, it might have seemed to be, but it's a 3.5, 4 hour trip.
What'd you major in?
Criminal justice.
And so, when you graduated from there, what happened?
I
next?
didn't graduate. After I left there, I went in. I worked for a little bit, then I went into the United States Air Force. I was in the United States Air Force 6 years. Played basketball for the Air Force and stuff, and had a lot of fun there. Stayed in there 6 years, and when you play basketball, you play basketball for a long time, so I pretty much played probably until I was maybe in my 40s, I guess. It got to where my hip hurt, so that's when I stopped playing, all the way through.
So, where did the Air Force take you? Where were you?
I was stationed in San Bernardino, California.
Did you like living out there?
I did at the time. Yeah, it's a good place, but after a while, it kind of, country boys want to get back home. All that traffic and all that and everything. It's kind of nice to get back home too and everything. But I enjoyed it for a while.
Did you ever come back and live in Wallerville as an adult?
I did.
You did?
I did. It's kind of funny how I ended up back in New Albany when I was separated from the Air Force. I was supposed to go work on airplanes down at Columbus Air Force Base. Contractor lost contract in between me leaving California and getting back here, so that's how I really ended up back in New Albany.
It just happened.
Just meant to be, I guess,
Yeah.
I ended up back in New Albany, and then next thing you know, you have children and stuff, and I don't want my children being raised in no big city and stuff, so here I am.
So you've been, I guess when you came back to New Albany, where did you start working at that point, when you first got back?
I worked at Masterbuilt there for a hot second and stuff and everything, and I went over to Piper Impact. Stayed there until I joined the police force. Piper went through a buying out and rephasing and all that, and when that happened, I think it was in '99. That's when I joined the police department. So when I first came back, I worked at Piper probably, I guess, maybe 6 years, and I went to the police department.
So you've been with the police department for a long time then?
Since '99.
Yeah. And is your job now, are you still affiliated with the police department?
I am.
Okay. And so now what is your current role?
I'm the director of safety for the school district, the Erby School District.
Okay. So how many people do you have under you in that department?
There's 3 SROs, one at each campus.
One at each school, an SRO.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, everybody doesn't know what SRO means.
School resource officer.
And when did schools start having resource officers?
Well, when they started having these school shootings, back in the day, everybody was scared of the principal. You didn't need resource officers, but now principal are scared of the students, so you got to have someone there to try to, keep things safe. Schools are still some of the safest places you can be, but if something happens to a little child, it's a lot more serious than when it happens to an adult, so that's, to try to keep your children safe while they're at school so they can learn rather than being afraid.
You've seen a lot of changes through the years with that, I'm sure.
It's constantly changing, you got people that may call themselves experts on school safety, but when you really get down to it, there's no experts, and everything. All you can do is try to do the best you can. There's a lot of people out there trying to sell you a lot of stuff, but it doesn't make you safer, Like I tell the school is, lock doors and paying attention to your children and supervising them what makes you safe. Everybody, doing their part to be safe and stuff. You got folks that's always there to try to make you spend money on all this stuff and everything, which really, it's kind of bad, to thrive on people's fears and stuff for safety and stuff and everything. But there's money to be made. You've got people out there to try to make it. There's things you need, but a lot that you don't.
Yeah, that's sad that is an industry.
I don't think it's changed a lot, because the way it is now, if it's a locked door and there's a student standing there at the door, he's probably going to open it. If somebody wants to get into school, they pretty much going to get into school because you stand there at the door. Somebody's going to open it. It's kind of like a human nature and stuff, We try to stop the propping doors open and all that kind of stuff and everything, That's hard to do because every door you go by is pretty much a brick or stick or something laying out there where they prop the door from time to time. We're trying to get away from that. I think it's better than it was and stuff. But as far as students, if you knock on the door, they're going to open it.
Yeah. Did y'all have a super fan?
I remember Miss Hutchinson. But we had a lot of good fans and everything. But Miss Hutchinson comes to mind when I think about fans and stuff.
Who was that?
She was a lady that had some children in school there and stuff and everything, but she was always there supporting.
As long as you've been involved with the school here and, being, I'm sure, present at a lot of sporting events, especially basketball, which is more confined, do you have any, memories of where you thought it was just super intense? The fan involvement, where you thought, oh, this is gonna get out of hand?
I've seen a lot. I think probably, well, in high school we got a lot. It wasn't really getting out of hand back then. It's just, the fans were, when you get down to tournaments and championships and states and all that and everything, the fans kind of turn it up a notch, and they want their team to get a fair shake. A lot of times, on those close games and everything, they do think the referee might have done something just a little bit against them and everything, and a lot of times they may have to be escorted out. Some fans get escorted out more than others, and, but some, let the referee know exactly how they feel and everything, and they know, they fine with it, they go on, they know it's time to leave, they leave and everything. But you find that more in your close games and stuff. Back then we had a lot of close games, not as many, I don't see as many now, but back then it was a lot of close, games, and fans are into it, and a lot of times the referees catch a lot of heat, if they don't make the correct, what they feel is the correct call, and some people control it better than other stuff. But as far as now and everything, just, you can kind of tell, some rivalries and stuff, and As long as it's not a real close game, you know, it's not too big a deal. But when it gets down to 1, 2, 3 points, then everything, that's when something's probably going to happen. You know, so
If you could put together a dream team from your age group of this area, you know, all these guys, who would be your dream team?
well, when I think about basketball, and it's probably probably 10 guys around probably come to my mind that I would think about. It'd be Anthony Anderson, Mike Ray, Troy Howe, Terry Ball, Lawrence Cameron, James Green, Johnny Payton, David Foote, Bobby Bowden. And Keith Terry Trotaway. I got to put my old basketball partners in there and stuff and everything, but you know, that's the guys that come to mind just off the top of my head. You know, that's you know.
That would be your dirty dozen.
Right. Yeah.
How many years did you play there?
I played there two years, and had some good times there. Played against some big name NBA players and all that, and
Like who?
Karl Malone, Joe Klein, Alvin Robertson, Michael Phelps.
Who were your in your division of your school? Like who were some of the other schools in your division?
I played in what they call the SWAC, Southwestern Athletic Conference. It was Alcorn State, Jackson State, Prairie View, A&M, Bethune-Cookman, Grambling State, Mississippi Valley State. I remember one time when I played at Mississippi Valley State, East Union got a pep bus and came over to watch me play. You know, yeah, whole busload of them came over there. That was nice. Like I say, East Union got some great fans. Yeah, they all joined in and came over there, and I caught one of my games when I played over at Valley when we came to play them.
Were you able to come home very often?
I didn't come home very often. You know, my family, my mom and dad, you know, when we have a game on Saturday, they would make it, you know, to anywhere close. You know, they would always be at the games. On the weekend, have a weekend game. They always made the weekend games.
Were there guys from all over the country there with you, or were they mostly in the southern region?
It was from all over. We had guys from Detroit, New York, California, everything, from everywhere.
I bet that was interesting for you coming from such a small town to be around guys.
It was different. Think about it, you know, going from high school to Division I is just the speed of the game, you know, and you know all these guys taller and faster than you know, you have to adapt. And I remember the first time I went out on the court to practice, the assistant coach, he was probably maybe 6'8" and everything. So we, you know, playing. I went in there and shot like a little layup. He knocked the ball way off into the stands, and I had to go get it, you know. And he said, "You can't bring that high school stuff in here. You're in college now, so you have to adapt. You just can't shoot the little high school layups and stuff and everything." But I never forget that. That's the first day I went out there. He chunked that ball up there. So you develop, you know, jump hooks or whatever it is you need to do for those big guys and stuff. It makes you, you know, expand your game.
I'm just assuming that when you were in high school, you probably were the big guy. Were you one of the biggest ones on your team? The tallest?
I was in high school, and when I got to college, I was probably maybe one or two guys that were shorter than me. You know, so it's a big change. You know, when I first got to campus, you know, my friend from Memphis, we still get together now and everything. He's a 7-footer. You know, I never seen a 7-footer, you know, in person. until I saw him. You know, we're still friends to the day and everything. And he was walking around. We got there at the same time, walking around campus. We met up there, and we've been friends ever since. You know, but it's a big change from going from being the tallest on your team until being the shortest on your team. You know, so it was a big change.
What's it like hanging out with a 7-foot tall guy?
You get a lot of attention. Everybody be looking like, wow, everybody running up to him. How tall are you and stuff, and all that, you know. But you know, anytime we go out, you know, it would be me, the 7-foot, and probably 3 or 4 6'8", 6'5" guys too and stuff, you know. So they know it was something going on, something with some basketball and everything. But you know, you always got all the attention on you. But you know, when they see the 7-footers come in, everybody, you know, notices that. Wow, he's tall.
Yeah, you can't go undercover as a 7-footer.
No.
What made you join the Air Force?
Well, you know, when you go through life and stuff, the dreams and plans that you have don't always go through and go the way that you really want them to and stuff, you know, because my basketball career at Alabama State, you know, me and the coach had some problems and stuff and everything, ended up leaving the team. And could have went somewhere else and played, but I just got to a point where I didn't love basketball at that point in time. And, you know, and coming out working and everything and not finishing my degree and all of that, you know, I tried to salvage what I could and stuff and get, you know, off into a career field and everything that, you know, that I would enjoy and get me back on track, get away stuff and everything. And Air Force was good for me.
Not many people around here go to the Air Force.
Well, I was just, you know, going, working in a factory and all that and everything. That's what I wanted to do, and you know, and that was the way I felt, you know, to get out of that, you know, 7 to 4 factory job and stuff, and so I felt as though that was my best hours, you know, to kind of do something that I would enjoy.
Why that branch?
That's the only one I would have went to. I think it fits me. You know, I didn't want the Army, I didn't want the Navy, didn't want the Marines, but you know, that's what was fitting for me.
And you played basketball for them.
I did. Sports is big in the military and stuff, and played basketball. Every base has a team, a base team. They ended up playing for the base team, and ended up playing for the. You have a tournament, and they have all tournament, and then played for the Air Force against, you know, the Army and Marines, Navy and stuff and all that and everything. Probably maybe 2 months out of the year that all I did was play basketball. And they got, you know, football overseas. It's a big thing, and but it's sports and stuff is big in the military. You know, a lot of people don't want anything to do with the military. But you know, I think it should be something that's mandatory for everybody to go through. I think this country would be a lot better place if everybody had to go through the military, as far as males and everything. But I think, you know, mainly, you know, if you drop out of school, something like that, then you need to go to the military. You know, and a lot of these, you know, they turn 18, and you know, I think it would help them a lot. I know it helped me a lot. You know, makes a man out of you, and, you know, and it wouldn't hurt them. I think a lot of people may be scared to go to the military, but the thing about it is, you go in there and you train. That's what you train for. You know, if there's a war break out, you're not scared to go. That's what you train to do. That's like game day. You know, you're not going to be. You know, I think a lot of people are scared until, you know, you go through the proper training. That's just like in police work. You know, they say the body can't go where the mind hasn't been. You know, they may, you know, that's like some things may happen and they may say, you know, hey, you know, the officer was a coward or afraid, you know, but it all boils down to what kind of training gives you confidence. And it's the same thing in the military. You know, you go through the proper training and everything, you're not afraid. You're ready to go in there and do your job.
That's deep stuff.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people, they just see things for the the face value and stuff, but when you really look at it, you know, if I'm your boss and it's your job to go in there and do something, I got to give you the proper training for you to go in there and do your job. I can't sit back and say, oh, you a coward because you didn't go in there. No, I didn't give you the proper training. You didn't have the confidence to go in there. That's what people don't think about, you know. It's not always this fellow's fault, you know, who's above him, you know, and it's a lot of that's not thought of. But the military, you know, it prepares you for that. That's what you do. You practice that every day. So you prepare to go and do whatever it is that you got to do. You got to go through something, you know, to be made of something, you know. If everything's always easy for you, you know, first time you put a little pressure on, you know, you're going to crumble. You know, you got to be able to withstand this world and stuff. You got to go through something. You just can't have everything given to you. You got to fight for something. I'll tell one of my college stories, I guess. We were playing Alcorn State at Alabama State in Montgomery. And didn't have three-pointers back then. And Alcorn came in, I think we were down maybe like 20 at halftime. And we, second half, we come back, we catch Alcorn. And I remember I'm on the sideline, they throw the ball in to me, and I turn, and they call offensive foul on me. And I didn't know, you know, that all of a sudden, it's a big commotion and everything. I thought, you know, the coach from Alcorn that maybe just got, you know, excited or something and everything. But what happened was, when they made that call, the coach from Alcorn stood up, and one of the fans in the stand threw a whiskey bottle, and it hit the coach in the back of the head and knocked him out. And I, you know, then the ball just swooped right on across the floor and everything, because it was, you know, that's what I'm talking about, those 1-point games, and the referees, everything, because they were throwing at the referee. When they threw the bottle, that coach stood up about that same time, and it hit him in the back of the head.
Then what happened?
He was out on the floor, you know, because I just thought he might have got excited, you know, because we was all in the game, you know, but that's what had happened, you know. Coach got hit in the head with a bottle.
Did anything happen? Like, did the fans react? I don't know how many fans.
They never did figure out who done it. They always, everybody talks about that still now and everything, and about who threw that whiskey ball. They got a good idea, but they never found a fan that did it.
No cameras then to catch anybody.
Wasn't no cameras to catch nobody. With no cell phones and all that to catch nobody.
Yeah,
you know,
today
so.
you could go back and
Yeah, somebody would be having it on their phones
Yes.
and everything, but yeah, that was
different
in the heat of
world.
battle. This was on Saturday. Monday night we played Southern University, and that was all the fans came out the stands, and it was a big old brawl. Yep, that was Saturday night when the coach got hit. Then that Monday, that's when we had the big old fight. It's in the front page of paper, you know, fans swinging.
How do you even break? When it gets to that level, how do you make it ever end? Like, you can't pull everybody off.
They just finally get tired and quit. You know, fighting don't take long. You know, it don't take long to get tired and everything. But you know, they just decide it's over with.
Everybody just has to walk away.
Yeah, they just go and really they get tired and
Talking,
just
running their mouth while they walk away.
You can't fight. You can't sit up and fight long. About 2-3 minutes is tops. That's it. The guy I shared time with was over on the sideline, and next thing we knew, he picked up that guy from Southern and body slammed him. And that's when all the fans come out the stands. Yeah.
What's your theory on why this whole area is so rich in basketball success? The hotbed, as they say. What do you think created the hotbed?
Back during our era and everything, because we played basketball all the time, and a lot of times, you know, we kind of all grouped in together, older guys playing against younger guys, because like the New Orleans team that went, you know, undefeated and all that, all those guys on that team grew up playing against us. We were older than they were, And if they can play against us, they can play against anybody. And that's kind of how it developed, you know, because you're in the gym all the time. And I think it's kind of lost a lot of that these days because, you know, they're not in the gym as much. You know, if it's not time to practice, they're not in the gym. But we were in the gym all the time. And we were always playing against guys, older guys. And that makes you better. You don't be good as your competition, you know. So they're not in the gym, so they're not getting that same experience as they would back in the day when we played.
You said y'all would play in the BF Ford gym?
We played anywhere we could.
Anywhere?
Yeah, if they would open it, we would play there.
Yeah.
You know, we ride our bikes, you know, we might ride our bikes to Pontotoc and play and ride back, you know, or whatever. We ride it. Back then, you know, mom and dad take me here, take me there, you know, wasn't none of that. You either walked or you rode your bike, you know, so we would ride our bikes, you know, we ride to New Albany, play in the park, ride back, you know. And I guess that's why we was in such great shape, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
we play all basketball all day, then ride back, you know, on our bikes and everything. You know, these days, you know, if we can't get nobody to drop them off, you know, they just ain't playing, you know, so.
Yeah, I see that creates a whole different level of, I mean, there's all kinds of things that
Yeah,
would create that.
Yeah, you got pride. And, you know, even though you all know each other and you're good friends, but once you get on that court and everything, you want to say you won. And they want to say they won, you know, so it makes for some good games. Because you know you're going to get their best. I'm going to get my best, and I know they're going to give me their best and stuff. And it makes it, you know, what it's all about.
Yeah. Because y'all can still, 40 years later, still talk about when you beat them.
Yeah, you know, the stories, how they
Or they
changed and
beat
stuff.
you.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, yeah. It's all kind of guys and stuff. You know, they got their stories and stuff. Can't take those away. You can't make those up.